So, I don't know if anyone remembers. I'm sure everybody does remember this, but there's a lot of controversy a couple months ago, almost a year ago actually, when Minna fought Shaylian Non Dan Becky. There was a lot of controversy because James Krause was doing the whole gambling situation. He had the whole Discord where he would do gambling tips, and Derek Minner was his student at his gym, and he pretty much allegedly, I'm not saying he did, but allegedly, he did mention in his Discord that he was injured and to bet on the other guy. Allegedly. Not saying he did do it, not saying he didn't do it, just saying allegedly. So my question is, well, where the fuck is James Krause? He deleted his Instagram and everything, and to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't re-downloaded it. I haven't seen anything from him. Yeah, no James Krause on Instagram, just a bunch of fake accounts. There's a realtor from Indiana, but that different James Krause. So my question is, where is this situation gone to? Is James Krause still alive, man? Like, has he been taken out? Like, literally there's no news stories about James Krause for months. And this was a really big deal that this completely banned UFC fighters from gambling. Yeah, the last article that came out was in July, which it said that it involved the FBI reportedly spills into other fighters. Uh, he was also suspended from coaching. Like none of his fighters are nobody under his supervision, let's say, is allowed to fight. So like, what what's happening here? Like, it's been a very long time. Like literally, the last article was July, and then before that, all these articles are from December, January. I don't know. We need an update here. Like I'm very interested in this whole situation. I liked James Krause when he was a fighter. I actually didn't mind his fights. I liked that when he stepped in to fight Turing Giles on such short notice. But I mean, he completely ruined gambling for all these UFC fighters because now nobody's allowed to gamble because of this guy. So I'm sure he's not a favorite among all these UFC fighters. I'm pretty sure if some like illegal betting organization or the FBI don't get it, I'm sure some fucking UFC fighters have a bounty on his head too because it's completely ruined gambling for him. But yeah, we need an update on this situation, man. Like I don't think enough people are talking about this. Like where the fuck is he? Like is he still being investigated? Is he still alive? Is he on the run? Like, are we gonna hear about James Krause like fucking fleeing to Mexico or something like that? Like, I don't know. We're gonna see we're gonna see some guy in like the background of some like Mexican MMA event or coaching, and he's gonna have one of them like mustaches and like the glasses and the nose thing. He's gonna be hiding his identity or something. He's gonna have one of them real clear mustaches, like that they have when they like try and hide their identity, but it's like very obvious, like in the old fashioned movies. Like he's gonna have one of them mustaches, but he's gonna be on a wanted poster or something like that. Like it's gonna be a wanted poster with him without the mustache, and he's gonna be like sweating. I don't know. I'm waffling a little bit here, but I'm generally very curious of what this guy's doing because this was a massive story for so long and now it's just gone radio silence. Maybe the FBI is doing their investigation or something, and maybe there'll be an update soon, or maybe we'll never get an update. But we, the people, demand an update. Where is James Krause at, man? Like, the guy's ruined gambling for everyone in the UFC. Like, you'd want there to at least be a fucking an ending to this story. We want to know what's going on. Like his gym's completely fucked, so he's not making money off that. He's not making money off gambling. He's not fighting, so like I don't know. He has no means of financial income. Like he's completely fucked his life over. That's what I want to mention as well. if he didn't allegedly do that thing to Derek Minite, he, he wouldn't have to deal with this. His life would all be perfect, and he'd be making all the money he makes off gambling. Like apparently, he said himself he was making more money off gambling than he ever did fighting or coaching. So that's fucking insane to hear. But it also makes me think, uh, with this, like, he has no, like, financial, like, what if it came out that he actually didn't do anything wrong? His life has been completely ruined. He's probably in financial ruin because he hasn't made money for months probably, unless he's like in some documentary or something where they're filming him, you know, interviewing him or something that we don't know about. But like, he's literally, if this turns out to be false, which myself personally, I do think it's true, but it's all alleged. But I personally, I think he did maybe give away some stuff, But yeah, I definitely feel bad for him if it did turn out to be false. But I think the evidence does point towards him at least telling people about the injury. I don't know if he straight told them to go and bet on Derek Minner's opponent, but he did. He did mention the injury, but you know, yeah, it's just a weird situation. But you need to know where the fuck he is, man, because it's getting worrying that there's been no update. Like, I'm actually worried about James Krause's safety because we have not heard from this guy for a very, very long time, and with all the controversy he's had, might be time to like call in for like a wellness check on him because yeah, it's a bit worrying because he was making millions or like making lots and lots of money off that gambling. So it gets a little bit scary when it involves that much money in it, but hopefully we'll have like a solution to this whole situation. Because yeah, like I say, I really want to know what's going on here because it's a pretty big deal. He completely ruined gambling for anyone in the UFC, like any UFC fighter, their families. Like he's not going to be a very well liked man after what happened with this whole probe and everything, this whole gambling betting probe and everything with the FBI and yeah. Well, all I can say is James Krause is probably not a very well liked man. Maybe he is making some money on the side or something, doing God knows what. But like, I'm sure he's still coaching fighters that aren't in the UFC. But you're not really going to be making the big bucks when it comes to that. Like all of his big financial gains would have been from fighters within the UFC. Now he doesn't have any, which I still think it was a bit weird. But I do understand why they wouldn't want him involved. They don't want any fights being rigged or they don't want any fishy business going on, but still, I feel really bad for Derek Minner in this situation because he probably did nothing wrong. It was literally just happened that he trained at James Krause's gym and that he happened to be injured, and obviously his coach James Krause is going to know about it. But he gets like cut from the UFC and he gets fucking all these probes and everything, and he's the face of this massive controversy. Like, you got to feel for Derek Minner. I don't think he's fought since the Shaylin fight, which I believe was in November of last year, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, November 5th. Rodriguez versus Lemos. Yeah, man, poor guy. Like, gotta feel bad for him. You know, like the guy had some good wins. Like he had a win over Clay Collard and Terrence McKinney. It's like, you gotta feel a little bit bad for him. He had a long career as well. He's fighting since 2012, gets to the UFC, and then he gets his. I mean, he was on a free fight losing streak, so the chances are he was going to get cut anyway. But he was not going to keep his his UFC contract after this whole controversy happened. But yeah, I don't know, just poor guy. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with James Krause because James Krause actually sold his gym in December to the owner of the FAC. MMA promotion, Joe Wooster. Yeah, okay. I'm convinced James Krause is like fucking fleed the country or something. Like, surely it's gonna pop up that James Krause is like fucking running some like random regional promotion in fucking Ecuador or Paraguay or some random like South American country, or maybe it turns out he's in Panama, like he's somewhere in Central America, Belize. Like it's gonna turn out that he's somewhere in some random like country, and he's like starting it all over again. He's like building a fixed fight promotion in like, yeah, in like Central America or South America or in the Caribbean somewhere. It's gonna turn out that's what it's gonna be. Something crazy is gonna come out that he's doing something illegal as well. Hopefully, there's a biopic about James Krause if this turns out to be some real crazy story. But I think I've waffled, whatever you want to say, waffled. I've waffled enough in this video. So yeah, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.